Welcome in Switzerland for the 53rd running of the Rallye International du Valais, the final round of the European Rally Championship. And we're in the ski resort Crans-Montana for the opening day. 3 stages on the opening day. And this is the man who won last year, driving a Peugeot 207 Super 2000, Laurent Reusch. Magnificent winner last year. Makes a careful start this year. Let's drive a while with the man in the Peugeot. Reusch after the opening 3 stages in 3rd position. In sunny conditions, but that wouldn't last all through the weekend. The drivers very well aware that the weather conditions could change. This is Nicolas Althaus, Swiss champion 2012, aiming to end the season on a high. The Swiss championship already decided, just like the European championship, where Juho Hänninen has taken the title. Another Swiss driver in another Peugeot 207. This is Florian Gonod, who went off the road in the very first stage last year. It was a heavy crash and his co-driver Sandra Aletas was injured, but they're all well now because they are leading the rally this year. And this is Sébastien Caron, who makes his debut in a Super 2000 car, and he makes a very good debut because he's 2nd overall, 5 seconds behind Florian Gonod. Good driving then by Sébastien Caron and co-driver Lucien Revaz. A couple of Group N cars as well there in Switzerland. This is the Mitsubishi of Rudi Schmidlin. Has driven the Valais 8 times already, but was only 2 times at the finish, and he loves to make it 3 this year. His main rival in Group N is Urs Hunziker driving a Subaru. And they're both well inside the top 10. A world premiere in Switzerland as well for Peter Choon, 8 times Belgian champion. He's driving a Citroën DS3 regional rally car, the RRC, and he was driving very well, set the best time in the opening stage, and then this happened.
Oh, het is gedaan, stommerik.
And Peter Choon thought it was all over, but it wasn't. He was pushed back on his wheels, but he lost 5 minutes in that final corner of the 2nd stage. And he dropped well to 77th position in the overall standings, but he could continue, and that was the most important.
Peter, they are working very hard on the car. What happened?
Yeah, I rolled it at the end of stage 2, very slowly. It was 10 meters from the flying finish, left corner, and I braked a bit early, and I went on the accelerator again, and then there was some gravel on the road, and I didn't manage to take the corner, so I slide very slowly from the ditch, in the ditch, and then I rolled it on the roof, so lost.
All the locals say it's very slippery on the first few stages. Is this a lack of experience in this race for you?
Yeah, I think we also put hard tires because it was quite good weather, but all the Swiss guys were on the soft tires, so I also had to take the soft tires. But okay, the times were good. Times in the first stage was very good, and the 2nd stage we were pushing a bit less, but yeah, you see, even if you don't really push, you can go off the road, so it's a pity.
Bad luck then for Peter Choon. This is Antonin Tlustak driving a Fabia Super 2000, the lone Skoda against a couple of Peugeots. This is Michael Burry, son of Olivier Burry, the experienced Swiss rally driver, and Michael Burry is doing very well. He's 6th overall, just behind Tlustak. And there was another Skoda Fabia in the hands of Philippe Roux, but he was well outside the top 20 and not involved in the battle in front. ELMS driver Jonathan Hirschi drives a rally once in a while, and he's doing very well. He's just outside the top 10. And a 2-wheel drive car was in the top 10 as well for Italian Alessandro Perico and his co-driver Nancy Dragonetti. A good performance for that small Renault Clio.
Veloce 20, Array in ritardo a poco, sinistra 4 meno, 100 sinistri.
They're 8 overall. Laurent Reusch is in 3rd, and let's talk to the man.
Comment c'était la première spéciale?
How was that first day? Well, the first stage was a bit getting used to the car again, because we haven't driven a lot this year. And then we started slowly and we started to attack in the other stages. You've lost a lot of time here in this last stage. Yes, we lose 7 seconds, but that's by being careful. I thought I was driving a good rhythm, but it wasn't the case. It's a very slippery stage and there's a lot of time to lose, so you have to be careful. Tomorrow I hope we'll pass in between the rain, but it will be very difficult conditions. And it will be very difficult conditions as well for the next couple of days. This is Sébastien Caron.
Première spéciale, c'est très bien passé. C'est vrai qu'on a fait deux.
First stage went very well. I was a bit surprised to be immediately in the rhythm with the other guys in the Super 2000 category, because this is my first rally with a Super 2000 car. We changed the setup a bit, but overall the setup was almost perfect. We had only to change it in the slow parts. And in this stage there was a nice atmosphere and you had a good result. Yes, it's a very special stage. It's very tempting to just overdo it and augment the spectacle, but you can't take any risks. And Florian Gono is leading the rally. Florian, last year you had a big crash here. How was it this year? Well, yes, last year we had a very big crash. I haven't completely forgotten it. We still have it in the back of our mind, so we took a cautious start. And last year I went for the win. I went 100% from the start, and this year I like to take it cautious and then improve the rhythm and keep a margin of security. How do you compare the Super 2000 with the Group N car? It's better in the road holding properties, but then again I miss the turbo once in a while, especially coming out of hairpins, because there's a lack of torque there, and that's I have to hurt the mechanic parts of the car, and that's not what I like. So what do you expect for tomorrow then? Well, I have to continue in this rhythm, and let's see what happens. But the last day is the important day, and I hope to stay in front or at least near the leaders. But the big day is Saturday, and then we have to avoid having a puncture. These are the standings after the opening day, the opening 3 stages. Gunnar from Caro and Rush, Althaus and Klustak complete the top 5. Second day then in the Rallye du Valais, 7 stages. And the first 3 are held around Vaisonnas. Some 52 kilometers of special stages there. And the roads are a bit humid, which causes some problems in the tire choice. Peter Chun trying to gain some places, and he does a very good job in doing so, because he jumps from way down to 77 to 33rd after the 3 stages of the second day. A good performance from the Belgian. He's happy with the performance of his car.
Peter, how was your morning?
It was quite okay. The first stage was quite slippery, quite still humidity on the road. So as I never drove on the humidity, I was a bit careful and I lost some time, a bit too much time, a bit too cautious. Second stage was quite good, and on the third stage I had a puncture at the rear right, about 6 Ks from the end, so I lost 40 seconds.
In sinistra 6:30.
Alessandro Perico and Nancy Dragonetti are still in the top 10 and 9 to be precise. They're 3 minutes behind, but still a very good result for that little Renault Clio. The lone 2-wheel drive car in between a lot of 4-wheel drive cars. And keeping up the pace there. Antonin Klustak lost a place in the opening 3 stages of day 2. Went from 5th to 6th and is now over 2 minutes behind. He is passed by Michael Burry, who gained the spots by improving his rhythm.
Michel, hier tu as dit que tu dois augmenter.
Michael, yesterday you said you had to improve your rhythm. Did you manage to do so? Well, this morning it was very hard with the other drivers going very fast, and we had to keep a good rhythm, but it wasn't high enough apparently. So now we have to try and improve just a little bit more. Nicolas Althaus in 4th overall. 28 seconds behind the leader. It's still almost a full minute behind the man in 5th, Michael Burry. Swiss champion, keeping in touch with the leaders to be able to attack on that final day when there's a lot to be lost and a lot to be won. Laurent Reusch, 14 seconds behind the leader, in the same position almost as Nicolas Althaus, trying to keep in touch with the leaders. And Sébastien Caron, his times of the opening days were a surprise, but he confirmed those performances and he's still in 2nd place.
Sébastien, quelle bagarre pour le podium.
Sebastian, that's a good fight for the podium places, isn't it? Yes, it's between the 1st, the 2nd and 3rd place. It's very close all the time. It's very interesting. It might rain this afternoon, which might change the conditions. So it's all up to the tire choice who wants to take the risks and who doesn't want to take the risks. Florian Gonod still leading the Rallye du Valais. The beautiful Swiss Alps. He has 7.5 seconds in hand over Sébastien Caron.
Les spéciales étaient avec pas mal de portions humides.
The stages were a bit wet, so I had to be cautious there, but on the dry parts I could push a bit, so I had a lot of fun. It's a good fight for the top 3, isn't it? Yes, I was fastest once, then the others were fastest, so it's a good fight for that top 3. But I made a small mistake in the 3rd stage and lost a bit of time, but that my rhythm was gone then, so I lost some time. These are the standings after the 6th stage, with Gonod still leading from Caron and Reusch. Althaus and Burry complete the top 5. That was it for part 1 from the Rallye du Valais. Let's see you after the break. Welcome back in Switzerland for the 2nd part of the 2nd day of the Rallye International du Valais. It might rain on that 2nd day, so the conditions could be a bit more difficult for the drivers. Peter Tschun, still climbing in the overall standings, is 11th at the end of day 2. Let's remind you, he was 77th at the end of day 1, after that roll at the end of stage 2. The Belgian pushing very hard with this DS3 RRC. The car only drove 10 kilometers before the start of this rally. It's a real world's first, that regional rally car DS3. Michael Burry was in 5th, but then he had a problem on the 1st stage of the 2nd loop. A brake hose came loose, he lost the brake fluid, he missed a braking point and he hit the rock with the left rear and his wheel broke off, and that was the end of his rally.
Qu'est-ce qui s'est passé?
What happened? Well, in the 1st stage of the loop, we had a small mechanical problem. It wasn't our fault, it wasn't the team's fault. Apparently a brake hose came loose, and at the next braking point only one wheel blocked and I slid against the rock and I lost the left rear wheel. And that was the end of our rally. Antonin Tlustak climbed back to 5th then after the retirement of Burry, but he's already over 4 minutes behind the Czech driver. Still, he's the lone Skoda Fabia in the top 7, because all the other cars are Peugeot 207s. So he's defending his position very well, Antonin Tlustak. Laurent Reusch was unfortunate on the 2nd half of day 2 as well. Breaking a wheel and losing over a minute, and he's now in 4th position. 1 minute and 16 seconds behind the leader. That could be very difficult to close that gap on the last day. But there's a lot of kilometers to do on the last day, and half of them are on gravel. So maybe Reusch can perform a miracle. Nicolas Althaus keeps the gap towards the leader under half a minute, and that's a good sign because that's easily closed in the difficult conditions of the last day. In third overall now, the Swiss champion, 25.7 seconds behind. Very quick Alp roads there on the Rallye Internationale du Valais, one of the nicest rallies in Europe.
Tu es content de la journée en général?
Are you happy with your day today? Yes, very happy. We gained some places and we lost some time here on the last stage, but we know Florian Gonon is good on that stage, so that's okay. So we have to keep the leaders under pressure and try to keep Roche behind, because he might come back on the last day. Everything will be decided tomorrow, and everything will be decided as well for this Sébastien Caron, the big surprise of the rally. His first rally in a Super 2000 car, and he's still in second overall. He lost some time, but he's now only 17 seconds behind the leader. So a good second day for Sébastien Caron as well.
Sébastien, ton premier course en Super 2000 et ça passe.
Sebastian, this is your first rally in Super 2000. It's going very well. Yes, I'm a bit surprised as well with our stage times. I didn't expect to be among the leaders, but we're still there, and we try to keep Gonon under pressure. And Florian Gonon is still in the lead. He has now 17 seconds in hand, and that promises to be a very close and a very exciting final day of the Rallye Internationale du Valais, with the Swiss specialists fighting among themselves. Who knows what might happen. So a good second day for Florian Gonon as well.
Aujourd'hui, ça s'est bien passé pour nous.
Yeah, it went well today for us. I improved my rhythm a bit, so it went well. And tomorrow you will continue to attack. Well, we try to drive as good as possible, but we mustn't forget that half of the stages tomorrow are gravel, so that will be difficult. These are the standings ahead of that final day. Gonon leading from Caron and Althaus, Rush in fourth, and Klustak in fifth. And then it was time for the infamous final day of the Rallye Internationale du Valais, with stages like Verbier and L'École and Col des Planches. Stages over 30 kilometers long, and especially since snow invited itself on the stages, it became very difficult for the drivers, especially for the drivers in the two-wheel drive cars like this Alessandro Perico, who lost a bit of time in the opening two stages of the final day. And Perico made a small mistake as well, and he dropped to 19th overall, but still he could look back on quite a nice rally.
In sinistra uno meno, lunga tieni.
Very difficult to fight against the four-wheel drive cars with the two-wheel drive cars, especially if it snows. Antonin Klustak, he has a four-wheel drive car without a turbo, of course, in the Super 2000. He dropped a place on that final day on the opening two stages, and he's now in sixth, well over 5 minutes behind. And these are the conditions on the top of the mountains. It was only wet at the bottom of the mountain, but on the top there was snow. And you have to drive very carefully in these conditions, because look at the gap on the left. That's 300-400 meters down before you land on somebody's roof, and you won't be very happy with that. Peter Chun never drove in snowy conditions before, or not really snow conditions like you have in Switzerland. Still, he made the right tire choice, and he set a magnificent stage time, beating everybody else by 40 seconds. And he climbed to fifth overall.
Peter, you choose for snow tires, a right choice.
Yeah, we took a small gamble, but it started snowing on the second stage, and the first stage was quite a lot of gravel, so we thought it could pass, and we did 2 times a good time, so we had very good snow tires from Michelin, so it made a difference.
Yesterday you said you didn't want it to snow today, but now in the snow you are almost 40 seconds faster than everybody else.
Yeah, but you know, it's not easy for me. I'm not used to driving the snow, but my friend Sheen from Michelin told me that they had very good snow tires, so he hoped that it would be snowing because he was confident that we could do a good time then. And I drove very carefully, but I had a lot of grip, so yeah, he was right. So it was a good tire choice.
So good stage times for Chun, who is now 5th overall, 4 minutes and 19 seconds behind the leader. And that leader is no longer this man. Florian Gonod took it very careful, too careful even, and he dropped from 1st to 4th place now, and he's 40 seconds behind the new leader.
Florian, ce matin, c'était pas...
Florian, you didn't have a good morning. What happened? Well, we lost all of our advantage because I don't have a good experience on the gravel, and I took it very careful, and that's why we lost some time. Sébastien Caron, still in the hunt for a podium finish, is now in 3rd overall, only 27 seconds behind the leader. A very good rally, and he continues to do very well, even in these difficult conditions. There was some 8 kilometers of snow on that stage, so if you took it with snow tires, that's a good choice. Rain tires was a bit difficult. Laurent Reusch took the good tire choice, and he changed his deficit of 1 minute and 16 seconds to a deficit of 1.7 seconds. So he gained almost 75 seconds there. Reusch now in 2nd place overall, only 1.7 seconds behind the leader. So everything to fight for in the final 4 stages of that final day of the Rallye International du Valais. And Reusch has to battle against this man, Nicolas Althaus, and look at the left front wheel of his Peugeot 207. That's a puncture indeed, but you wouldn't say it by the speed that Nicolas Althaus is driving. He punctured in the opening stage of the day. He didn't lose a lot of time, and then he had a very good 2nd stage, and that allowed him to take the lead. It's some 4 stages to go. A very small lead though, only 1.7 seconds.
Nicolas, comment c'était ce matin?
Nicolas, how was your morning? It was very difficult. Yes, it was very difficult. In the first, it went well. We had a puncture. I don't know how, but it happened. But we didn't lose too much time. But in the 2nd stage, the stage of Verbier, we had 2 snow tires in front and 2 rain tires behind. It was very difficult. So these are the standings after the stage number 12, with Althaus with a minimal advantage over Reusch, then Caron, Gonod and Chun in the top 5. And normally there should have been 4 more stages, but 2 stages were cancelled due to the heavy snow, and that left us with 2 infamous stages, L'École and Col des Planches. L'École over 37 kilometers and Col des Planches over 25 kilometers. And they would decide the outcome of the 53rd running of the Rallye International du Valais, and it wouldn't be a good outcome for this man. Sébastien Caron had a puncture in those final 2 stages, and he lost a lot of time, and he dropped to 5th overall. He would probably have signed for that result before the start of the rally, but seeing that he was in the fight for a podium finish, he was understandably a bit disappointed. Peter Chun dropped to 77th at the end of day 1, and he finished the rally in 4th. That's a very good performance by the Belgian, and he's only left with the thoughts what could have been if he didn't roll at the end of stage 2. Nicolas Althaus went into the final stages as the leader, but he lost a lot of time on Col des Planches and L'École, and eventually he finished in 3rd, almost a minute behind the winner of the rally, and that wasn't Florian Gonod. He was leading most of the rally, lost the lead on the morning of the final day, and then staged a small comeback who allowed him to finish in 2nd overall. He was 54 seconds behind the winner though, and that winner, like last year, was Laurent Reusch, who had a magnificent offensive battle in that final day. Lost a lot of time on the end of day 2, and then went for the win in the final day, and was rewarded by that win. He had 54 seconds in hand, and he was understandably very happy with that.
Félicitations.
Congratulations, second win, consecutive win. Yeah, that's very, it's great. We hope to do so, but after our misadventure of last night when we broke the wheel, we thought it would be possible, but very difficult to start today with 1 minute 16 behind. So, and it was very difficult conditions, but we went for it and it all finished very well. Indeed, it went very well for Laurent Reusch and his emotional co-driver Jean Derias. A nice and deserved win in the 53rd running of the Rallye International du Valais. Reusch wins it from Gonod and Althaus. Schoen finishes in 4th and Caron, nice place in 5th. So that was it from the Valais. We had a nice rally, as always, I should say, in the Valais. That was the end of the European Rally Championship as well. We enjoyed ourselves this year. I hope you did the same. See you next year.